Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into Anthropic.
Right, the AI company that spun out of OpenAI back in, 2021?
Exactly. Founded by people like the Amadeus siblings, Dario and Daniella, Jack Clark, and others. And a key thing was their different take on AI safety.
Yeah, that seems central. They set themselves up as a public benefit corporation, a PBC.
Which means they have this, well, legal commitment, right? To balance making money with developing AI responsibly for humanity's benefit long term.
And they've got structures for that, like a long-term benefit trust and this responsible scaling policy, the RSP. It's quite unique.
Definitely. So our mission today is to figure out how they actually do that. How do they juggle being at the forefront of AI tech while keeping safety so central? And what does that imply for, well, everyone?
Okay, so first off, their business model. It's not just one thing. They've got API access, which seems like a huge driver.
Yeah, I saw a projection, something like $664 million ARR just from the API by next March. That's pretty impressive.
It really is. And that's with models like Claude 3.7 Sonnet having specific pricing. Then you've got subscriptions.
Like the Pro plan, $20 a month, kind of like ChatGPT Plus, and then bigger tiers too, Max, Team.
Right. And enterprise solutions, custom deals, plus these big strategic partnerships. Think AWS, Google Cloud.
That revenue growth is just wild, like $10 million in 2022, and they're aiming for maybe $2.2 billion in 2025.
Shows the demand, definitely. Their main products are the Claude models, Haiku, Sonnet, Opus, fast, balanced, powerful.
And they keep updating them. Claude 3, 3.5, now 3.7, plus the interface, Claude.ai, with features like projects and artifacts.
Don't forget the API itself and Claude for Enterprise, which has that enormous context window, like 500,000 tokens.
Wow. And Claude Code for developers, they seem really focused on business users, right? Finance, healthcare, education.
Primarily, yeah. Enterprise seems key, but also startups. And obviously those big cloud partners are crucial customers and channels.
Okay, so let's switch gears to that safety focus.
Yeah.
It's not just talk, right?
No, it seems deeply embedded. Their core idea is that safety isn't an add-on, it's like a prerequisite. They talk about constitutional AI or CAI.
That's the one where they use principles like the UN Declaration to train the AI so it can sort of self-correct.
Exactly. To aim for harmlessness and critique its own outputs based on that constitution. It offers transparency, which is good, but, people debate which principles you should choose.
Makes sense. And the RSP, the scaling policy.
Right, the responsible scaling policy. It links AI safety levels, ASLs, they call them, to how capable the AI gets.
So if it gets good enough to potentially help with, say, dangerous tech,
then the safety requirements ramp up significantly. They might even have to pause development according to the policy. They've updated it for more flexibility, but verifying compliance is, well, tricky.
And they do research, too, on alignment.
Yeah, lots of it. Trying to understand how the models actually think, making sure they're honest, robust against misuse. It's a big part of their work.
So how does this safety push actually show up in the tech they release, like the Claude models?
Well, they are releasing very capable models. Look at Claude 3.7 Sonnet. It's got things like hybrid reasoning and extended thinking for complex stuff.
And it scores really well on coding tests, right?
Yeah.
Like SWB bench.
Top marks, yeah. So safety focus doesn't seem to be massively slowing down their innovation on core capabilities. Think large context windows, strong vision analysis in 3.5 Sonnet, that big push into coding.
And they're moving towards more agentic AI, stuff that can do things.
Seems like it. Tool use in the API, Claude Code, this computer use beta, letting the AI interact more with the world. The API itself has features focused on efficiency, too, like caching and batch processing.
Okay, let's talk funding, because you need serious cash for this.
Oh, absolutely. They've raised a ton. Over $14.8 billion by March 2025, apparently. Valuation around $61.5 billion.
Well, and the big money came from?
Strategic investors, primarily. Amazon has put in, I think, $8 billion total commitment. Google, over $3 billion.
Those cloud partnerships are massive then, not just for cash, but for infrastructure.
Totally. Amazon's their main cloud partner for training and running models. Google Cloud's also key. It gives them the compute power they need.
And it helps them sell, right? Getting onto AWS Bedrock and Google's Vertex AI puts them in front of enterprise customers.
Exactly. It's critical for their go-to-market, but it's also complex. Amazon and Google are partners and competitors in the AI space.
Yeah, tricky dynamics there.
Yeah.
So, stepping back, how do they stack up against, the other big players, OpenAI, Google DeepMind?
They're definitely seen as top tier, competing right alongside them. Their big differentiator is that safety and ethics angle combined with technical strengths.
The long context handling, reasoning ability.
Right, and the enterprise focus.
Mhm.
Performance-wise, Claude often benchmarks near the top, though it varies. People often say it sounds more natural, feels safer, but maybe historically was a bit too verbose or cautious sometimes,
And the whole industry is changing fast. More regulation coming.
which Anthropic is actually engaging with. Then there's the whole open versus closed model debate. Anthropic's firmly in the closed camp. And the constant need for more computing power, which makes those cloud partnerships absolutely vital.
So looking ahead, what's the game plan? Still targeting enterprise?
Seems like it. Financial services, healthcare, education, software development, customer support, knowledge work use cases. They're positioning Claude both as an assistant for users and a platform via the API for developers.
And they want to lead on safety standards.
That's the ambition. Pushing their RSP, sharing research, working with governments. Dario has even talked about AI potentially surpassing human abilities around 2027.
Which really underlines why they're so focused on the risks and safety side.
Absolutely. It brings us to a really interesting point for you, the listener, to think about. Anthropic is making this very explicit choice. Cutting-edge AI, but safety first.
Yeah, it's a fascinating strategy. It really makes you wonder in such a hyper-competitive field, what are the trade-offs? What do you potentially gain or lose by putting safety so front and center? Something to keep an eye on for sure. Thanks for this deep dive today.